Robert yet again. If you're not getting sick of the sound of my voice by now, there's something going wrong. But anyway, here is another video on another link building strategy, this time on directory submissions. There are online a large number of directories whose sole purpose in life is to provide links to websites based on certain subject areas. Now the two most dominant directories are DMOZ and Yahoo directory. We've talked about those in an earlier video, but there are a very large number of other directories of varying page rank where you can submit your website for the purposes of generating backlinks. Now, the best way of doing this is either to outsource it or to use software, and I will be recommending a piece of free software today, but there are better software versions than the free version, but at least it's a place to get started. But if you were sort of so inclined to do this manually, where I would come is to a website called addurl.nu, and this is created by a fellow called Jim Westergren, who's a very well-known search engine optimization expert, and he has compiled a list of websites here, several hundred I believe, which are directories where you can submit your website for the purposes of getting a link. Now they all work pretty much the same way, so I'm going to show you how to do one manually, and then I'm going to show you a piece of software that you might like to get, which at least allows you to do this simply for the directories that are available in that software. So if we were to click through to this particular directory, addurl said this is a PageRank 6 directory, then you can see that the directories are broken down by subject areas. Now I couldn't really find one that's absolutely perfectly suited to speed reading, so if we click through to the home family one, we'll see that there's 246 website submissions at this stage. And if we were to want to place a link in this directory, in this particular subfolder, we would click on the Add a Site link. Now the sort of information that they require from you to add a site pretty much always the same. Now some of them do allow free submission, and some, if you pay, you get submitted faster. But in this case we're going to use the free submission. Now I would add my URL to my web page here, a title which would probably incorporate your key phrase that you're trying to optimize for would go into this box here, a brief description up to 25 to 30 words, and there are some minimum requirements you need to meet here underneath this, but you can put a few words of copy there. Again, try and incorporate your keyword into the description, an email address, and then we're going to click on free submission, and I agree. And then it would almost certainly send an email to the web address that you've or email address that you provided here, and you may need to activate that link before they add it into their list of sites to be spidered in due course. Now, directory submission is probably the only sort of type of large-scale link building activity where I think you can do many in a very short space of time. I mean, you could do 50 in a day, largely because, as you can see here, it's going to take some time before this particular directory will actually get around to spider your site and include that site in the directory. So what generally tends to happen is you do a large number over a short space of time, and then they start to drip in over a long period of time as they get their act together and go through the submission. Now the free tool that I'm prepared to recommend on the subject of directory submission is by a fellow called Brad Callen. Now Brad Callen is the author of and creator of two very well-known pieces of software called SEO Elite and Keyword Elite, both expensive, very expensive software, but very good at what they do. But Brad has also created a couple of products under the domain iamwishlist.com, and there's a directory submitter and an article submitter. Now, the directory submitter there's a free version and there's a paid version. They both have exactly the same functionality, and what they do is they make it easy for you to actually submit to these free directories, because you pre-populate the software with the details of the site you're going to submit, and then the software then pre-populates those fields that we were looking at before, and then therefore generally you just have to actually pick the category that you want the submission to go into, and click submit, and then the submission will complete. Now there are also paid versions of this software as well, and the only difference between the free version and the paid version is the paid version has over 2,000 website directory links in its database, and I think the free version has about 200 or 300. The paid version is not that expensive, but if you just really want to submit to the 200 or 300 that are in the free version, then feel free to get the software there. Now, whilst I did mention that we wouldn't be doing a video specifically on article submission, because we've pretty much done one previously in relation to e-zine articles, Brad also has a free article submitter software as well, and again works on the same principle. The free version allows you to submit to a couple of hundred article directories, and the paid version over 660. And this allows you to submit an article to a large number of article directories along the same lines as submitting your website to the directory submitter. So I've used these products, particularly the directory submitter. I think it's very good. It allows you to actually go through the tedious process of doing directory submissions a little bit quicker. But if you don't want to use software, you can easily go and manually submit to this list here by hand. Now there are also paid services online where you can pay someone to do the submission for you. I think even Jim Westergren here offers a service to have it submitted to all these directories. As you can see, $290 for a full submission. But you don't need to do that if you don't want to. I mean, but I do recommend that you do consider directory submission as one of your link building strategies going forward. Now remember that if your hosting platform is sitting on a blog, or you have an RSS feed to your content, then there are also RSS directories that you can submit your feed to. Now I wouldn't recommend that you do this manually, but there is some free software for doing this called RSS Submit, and you see the address here is allscoop.com/tools/RSS Submit. And if we click through to that site, then there's a piece of software here called RSS Submit Pro, which allows you to put some information in about your content, your feed address, your website address, title, and so forth, and it will then go and submit your RSS feed to a bunch of RSS directories, which may also bring you some links over time. Now this is PC software. It doesn't work on a Mac, unfortunately, but it does the job reasonably well, and it has the added advantage of being free. All right. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of getting yet some more backlinks to your sites. If you want to see the addresses to some of those sites we were looking at, so for the list of search engine friendly directories you can submit your site to here, www.addurl.nu. Brad Callen's directory submission software, and also that free article submission software you can find at the website iamwishlist.com, and the free RSS directory submission software at allscoop.com/tools/RSS-submit. Well, I think we're nearly there. I think I've probably got one more video to go, and we're nearly done. Hopefully you've been finding this useful and interesting. Hope that hasn't been too boring, and I'll no doubt talk to you soon.